Hey guys, Cory here. Today we're going to work on our Town Hall 11 base identification skills, and that's going to help make you a better Town Hall 11 attacker. This is the basic plan for this base. Queen charge represented by the blue arrow, Lavaloon portion of the attack represented by the pink, but the devil's in the details. We're going to go over why this was such an excellent attack for this base. First, I want to draw your attention to all the dead space that I've highlighted in blue. That's going to help ensure that our queen walks to the left and does not walk to the right. Here we got some loons coming down to nail in that side of the funnel, and then we're going to get just probably like a minion on that builder hut right there. 2 loons was plenty to take out the canyon. 1 minion to take out the builder hut, and boom, that part of the funnel is complete. Now we're going to take a look at the king pathing over on the other side. Remember, we want the queen to charge straight into here, and we cannot do that if these buildings are left up on the outside, causing her to walk around instead of inside the base. So here the king is doing his thing over on the left. Queen needs to come down in time so that she takes out the buildings on the right, keeping that king walking there to the left. Now check this out. We've got, look at this. Now, of course, Surge has a freeze down on that multi-target Inferno, allowing him to get that wall break right there. But take a look at those wall pieces right there. There is 2 touching each other. That means wall breakers can open up both of those wall pieces, opening up not just 1, but 2 different compartments straight to that multi-target Inferno compartment. Here we go. Wall break is open. Now, King has done his job on the left, meaning that Queen has nowhere to go but into that multi-target Inferno compartment. This becomes very important because if you zoom in, look in right here, we need to get that Eagle Artillery, we need to get the enemy Queen, and we definitely need to get the enemy CC killed. Now, from this compartment right here, you could reach that enemy CC, but he's going to need a jump, which you see in the composition, to get deeper and grab that Eagle Artillery and probably that Queen as well. Here we go. Test Loon coming in, trying to check for any seeking air mines that would otherwise kill one of his healers. Now we got the CC coming out. Queen is under rage. She's taking a lot of heat. Poison's going to come down. Enemy's actually using Valkyries in that CC, so it was a good thing he had the rage down on his Queen very early. If you're a little late on your rage or on your poison, those Valkyries can take out your Queen if you do not pop her ability. But if you play it early enough, you can get through that CC. Now look at that jump coming down. That timing was very important because if you get it down too soon, it might end up wearing off so that your queen has less room later on in the base. Eagle Artillery is already down, getting ready to take out the enemy queen, but hold on, we're going to stop right there for a sec and take a look at the Lalo. The Stone Slammer gets played right here because there's several defenses out of range of the first air defense, and if you keep the Stone Slammer out of the range of an air defense, it's going to get more value. Next, I want you to notice these 3 air defenses and where they're positioned. They're directly centered in the path of all the remaining defenses, which means your hounds are going to get incredible tanking value, making for a nice, easy Lavaloon. And take a look at that pathing of the remaining defenses for the loons. We've got a nice C shape, enabling you to keep those loons together and have some very nice loon pathing. To keep that main group of loons moving along that path, you're going to need to direct target these outer defenses, narrowing that path, keeping the main portion, pushing through the core of the rest of the defenses. Now here we go. Enemy Queen is now also down. He's gotten all of his objectives that he needed to from the Queen charge, and she is still alive in the core of the base, helping to tank and continue narrowing that path even further for the Lavaloon portion of this attack. We got the last hound coming in right in front of those loons and that Stone Slammer. We got loons being surgically deployed around the outside of the base to keep the main portion of loons inside the base. Grand Warden ability leading into the last multi-target Inferno, and then a remaining rage spell that can be used to take out that last very dangerous section very, very quickly. In fact, he crushes this base so hard, he's almost got a Stone Slammer left at the end of the attack. If it wasn't for those 2 seeking air mines on that last air defense, that Stone Slammer never would have even popped for this attack. He's still got a Queen alive on the bottom. He's got a ton of loons left up top. Grand Warden with full health. Minions, of course, in around the edges, helping with cleanup. Now, with 2-phased attacks just like this, you have to first identify your Queen charge portion of the attack, and then identify what you're going to use on the back end because of the air defenses and because of the way the air defenses were positioned inside this base, and the fact that he was able to take out both the Queen, the Eagle, and the CC, it made Queen charge Lavaloon a really good choice of attack for this base. Here's our next base, and I'm going to tell you real quick, this is not a fresh hit. We already knew that there was a Hound and a Loon in the CC, and that's really going to play heavily into the plan for this base. First thing I noticed about this base was how open this top side is and just how much value I could get from a simple 4-healer queen walk using a baby dragon and a stone slammer to funnel her in to grab the eagle and a ton of other value. Next thing I noticed was the general shape of the base remaining if I got that queen walk to do its thing, and if I also got this trash out here all the way cleared out. But you're not going to get access to that enemy CC, and you're also not going to get access to the queen with that queen walk, and miners are the one troop that are really capable of killing that queen really easily, and then you're able to poison that loon so that you can completely ignore the hound as well. To accomplish funneling on the right side, keeping those miners inside the base, it's as simple as using a king and a P.E.K.K.A, knowing that even after they got those trash buildings down, this section right here is also open, as is this one, so they're still able to go in and continue potentially getting value, helping tank for those miners. Inside the Stone Slammer, there's a P.E.K.K.A and a Valk, because wherever this thing ends up popping outside this base, there's lots of wide open area with tons of defenses and value for the P.E.K.K.A and Valk to get. You might notice that I've only used 4 healers on this queen walk, and that's because the defenses on her side are so spread out that she's not going to take a ton of concentrated damage, and I was very confident that between one rage spell and her ability that I could keep her alive through to the end of the raid, even if she ends up losing a couple of her healers to seeking air mines or air defenses. Now we got the king and the P.E.K.K.A on the right hand side doing their thing. Might pop the king soon just to get that funnel established a little bit quicker, but he's going to get it done in time. We got miners done in there inside, and that's going to keep the queen walking around to the left instead of trying to circle back around to the right. We want that queen to get the eagle artillery, and we want the hound and the loon and the CC to focus on the miners. Have a poison and a freeze down on the loon. I generally didn't used to bring a freeze for loon, but I didn't have any experience poisoning this new higher level max loon, so I brought a freeze spell just in case, with the second freeze spell to be used whenever I saw enough value for it. Ended up using the rage on the miners because at that point I knew I still had my queen ability, and I wasn't going to end up needing to use the rage to keep her alive, so it helped those miners get through that section even quicker. Sure enough, look at that king in there, just like we said. P.E.K.K.A is still moving around the outside as well. Massive value from the king and the P.E.K.K.A on this. Miners are doing big things. I don't know if we maybe lost a few miners at this point. Got to heal down on the section just because they're in range of that multi-target inferno. Because there's very little pathing to that middle multi, they are going to be ending on it, and it was like a crazy trapped section as well. Coaster's got like 2 giant bombs and several ground skelly spells in there, but it's not going to matter. I have so many miners coming in there with basically full health that multi-target inferno, even with the extensive traps, is not going to stand a chance, and this base has been annihilated. Here's our next base. First thing I want you to notice is that both sweepers are basically pointing in the same direction, meaning that dragons can be very effective coming behind those sweepers. Next thing I notice is we have a fairly large section of defenses up top that do not have any splash damage coverage, meaning the bat spells would be very effective up there. Third thing that I notice is we don't have any air defense coverage for the left side of this base, meaning that a stone slammer is going to be super effective over there. Since both of these air defenses on this right hand side are exposed, you can easily take one out with the queen. However, the queen will pull the enemy CC from right here, so best to put an ice golem in front of her so that she can take out the air defense, get the funnel established, and kill the CC troops. Now we're going to take a look at this attack going down now that we know the plan for 4 or 5 possibly very nice things that are going to make this drag bat plan work really, really well against this base. Ice Golem comes down. Sure enough, Queen is establishing that funnel right now, and of course the enemy CC has come out to the Queen, but now it's frozen along with the defenses, allowing the Queen to get a nice head start. By the time she pops her ability, she's going to make short work of the rest of that CC and the rest of that funneling. King is used on the bottom side to establish that side of the funnel. Now I believe she wanted that King to walk to the left, but considering how spaced out those army camps are, that was always going to be a tall order, so he's going to funnel the buildings on the right, letting those dragons get into that air defense a little sooner, and she goes ahead and uses a dragon on the left to go ahead and nail in that side of the funnel. You really want at this point to keep the dragon moving into the base, taking out the core defenses and that eagle artillery, not getting stuck on trash buildings around the outside. So here we go, dragons continue moving through. She went ahead and used another one on the very bottom of the map just to get some of those trash buildings taken out so that dragons do not get distracted from demolishing the core of this base. Now we're going to see the bat spells come in very soon up top. Stone Slammer first on that left-hand side. Couple loons to make sure the Stone Slammer makes its way in towards that multi-target Inferno. Now we've got the raged up Bat Bomb coming in up north. We have 0 splash damage defenses until they come over to this wizard tower, so she's not very worried about them dying. The loons have the wizard tower distracted. She elects to use her last freeze on an air defense, trying to keep some of her few remaining dragons alive. Bats are still alive. We've got a few dragons still spread out through this base, but those bats still being alive is going to be huge in getting this base cleaned up in time and just really cleaning up the rest of this. We're going to ×4 it because this base is obviously destroyed. Now, of course, this video is not long enough to cover all of Town Hall 11 base identification, but if you've watched the whole video, you're going to have a head start on the competition. Now, I'd also like to draw your attention to the base identification playlist that you should see on the screen right now. I've got several more videos along this, and I'm going to keep adding videos to this base identification playlist. The more you watch, the more of these little things that you're going to notice, you're going to be able to put them into play on your own attacks. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you soon.